Game started.
Okay. Al-Hakim. Let's see, I played a Sicilian and a French. Let's just go old-fashioned e4, e5. And I always defend with knight c6 here. Oh, the Italian game. Okay, let's see what he wants to play in response to bishop c5. Okay, so he goes for the little piano. You need to develop your knight here so you don't fall into this simple trap of knight to g5, hitting the pawn twice and being awkward to defend. Now you can castle if he plays that, but here you can't. Now if he attacks the bishop right away, I like to retreat it to b6 so I can take back with a rook pawn. And I support my d pawn and castle. So it's all good. We'll see how white proceeds with his development. He can push forward with d4. And gets the queen to that square. That reinforces the bishop. Indirectly supports the e-pawn. I guess d4 right away would lose the e-pawn, huh? Can I play d5? Pawn takes, knight takes. Bishop takes, queen takes. I think I can. I have the knight and the queen supporting this pawn, so even if he takes this bishop with tempo, queen and knight will be attacking that pawn. Sort of a general rule, if you can play d5 and you're black in these positions, you do, because you need the space. You need a freeing move of some kind. And if this opens up entirely, yeah, there's always this rook e8 idea, skewering these pieces along this line here. But I'm sort of surprised he didn't take the knight. Now I can grab that bishop at least. I mean, if he had taken the knight with his other bishop, it would have brought my queen out, but maybe he could gain tempos by attacking my queen. He's got to take back with a pawn here because the bishop is on that. So yeah, I don't know what he's thinking about. If he doesn't take it, I've got knight knight c2 check. So he needs to take it. And I can play, maybe queen f6, bishop g4, rook e8, and push the e-pawn. It's an idea. Although it's nice not to have the e-pawn pushed. Is he giving up? This is a long wait for a simple move. 8 to 6:30, unless he lost his connection. Sometimes that happens. We'll find out. But I guess this, he took back. It was just a long think. Okay, I was about to give up on this game. I want to, actually, after he takes back this knight, queen f6 is not so attractive because he can castle and put a rook on it. So I think what I want to do is harass this bishop. Maybe queen here first, then bishop to e6, so I can challenge this bishop. Okay. And get rid of it. I know I don't have the two bishops anymore, but that bishop is an annoying piece, and his rook, maybe I can gain a tempo on his rook at some point because it's unprotected, And it's not clear that's a great square for the rook. In the meantime, I'm going to focus on his weak point here, which is the d3 pawn. I just retrieved the rook immediately. Okay, can I gang up on that pawn in some way? Well, there's queen d7. Queen d7 also has the idea of coming out to g4, but it also immediately threatens the pawn on d3. And maybe makes room for the knight to come over to the king side. Looks like he's giving me that pawn. Well, he's attacking this pawn. And he's attacking my bishop. Oh, my bishop was preventing him from castling. I should have thought of that. Okay, so if I take and he takes, I take, he takes. He's got an isolated pawn here, but I get to keep my bishop in that line. It takes my bishop, I can take his queen and then take back, and then I'm just a pawn up. So let's take here. Okay, get my rook out. So I'm figuring he plans to take here. Okay, he's going to let me keep that pawn. Okay. Now, I could play check, but I don't have time to take the pawn. I've got to take back this knight. But this should be good for me. And let's see, if I take, he takes with the king. And then I have a check, but not much more. If I check here, king moves, I grab another pawn. My rook trapped there. Check, king here, rook,
server
knight here,
announcement.
rook here, knight to g5 hits the rook, but the rook can move. Has a couple of squares it could go to. Yeah, I guess that's
check.
Okay. Okay, well, he's getting his rook active and attacking my pawns. A logical thing to do. How do I counterattack? A knight here would be nice. If I had a knight here, I would support my rook to there, or a knight to this square. Boom, boom, boom. Not so easy to get there. Boom, boom. Okay. What I can do is allow him to take that pawn. And I was going to counterattack over here, but then he gets another pawn. Okay, let's defend this pawn. Defend my e-pawn so my rook can move. If he attacks my knight, I can play rook to c4. Maybe I can play rook c4 anyway. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not so simple, huh? Knight here. Okay, let's drop the rook back. And if he attacks my knight, I'm going to have to move it and lose another pawn. But I can play the knight to this square, attacking the h-pawn at least. And I'm going to double my rooks on the c-file and maybe chase this rook out of here. It shows how valuable an active rook is. He's able to get some real counterplay with that. Okay, the king went to that square. Double rooks. A knight could come into here. Yeah, I guess that's the threat. Trying to attack my g-pawn. Let's try and chase his rook off. He can support it, of course. Got a little bit lucky there. And I was thinking there's a line there with just defending the rook. And then, oh, well, that gives me time. I would have to play g3 or something to keep the knight from getting into these squares. Okay. Can I do something a little more active here? Well, let's bring the king forward. Now, from that square, there's a check here. Which would be a fork. I need to do something about that. See, I could play knight here, but that he could chase the knight away. So let's move the king. Not too many squares for the king. Okay, so king to this square. This is okay. King to e6 attacks the knight, and this pawn on g7 is still defended. And so if he plays rook here, I can just take that knight. Actually, is this safe? He can just think about check here, king here, but then the knight has to move, and the rook is sitting on the square that the knight wants to go to with the fork. Played that a little too quick. But it appears to be safe. Rook e6 check, king to f7 is the only move. There's a knight check here, but the rook is sitting on e6 where the other knight check is.
Check.
And he gets a pawn though. No, if he goes here with check, I'm still attacking the knight. As long as I'm still attacking the knight, he doesn't have time to take that pawn. Okay, knight here attacks the rook and the knight, but the knight takes, rook takes. Just moving that moving that pawn away from take. And I'm going to play knight to c4 if I've got the chance. He takes, I can take back. And undouble my pawns and have a nice pawn there. So let's try this. Also hitting his b pawn, which he just undefended there. You can play check here. And I have to decide what I want to do about that. Now I can move my king up, because the rook here would still be defending. I just can't exchange. Okay, so he plays there, keeps my rook tied up. So let's get rid of one of these rooks. So I just have a single rook. And, yeah, I don't want him to be able to do stuff like that. So rook here, rook takes check, rook here, rook takes check, rook takes. Yeah, his activity is annoying. But I'm going to lose this pawn over here if I don't do something. Plus he might just start checking me. So I've got to be a little bit more proactive here. Yeah, that's annoying.
Check.
Going to lose another pawn. Okay, let's see if I can push these pawns through in the center faster. Faster than he can stop me.
Check.
So two pawns together like this is quite powerful often.
Check.
Well, I'm just going to start running this pawn if he lets me. His rook is not in a great position to stop that pawn. He can't get behind it here, not right away. And he can't go forward to the first rank there either, because his own pawn is in the way. And if he goes to this square, I push, and he can't, again,
check.
Go anywhere. Interesting. He can't go anywhere to stop that pawn. What he can do here is that move. So if I lift my rook, no, actually leave the rook there and just come forward with the king. I think this is good. My rook is cutting his king off.
Check.
Yeah, I don't need to get fancy. I can just push this, right? He can't stop it from queening. He should have at least tried to trade it off for a rook and then played some kind of pawns against rook endgame, which sometimes you can get a draw out of that. But this is a mate, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, what's the quickest mate here? So rook here, check, drives the king to that square. Queen here, check.
Time warning. Check.
Keeps the king from going to that square. So rook here, check.
Checkmate.
Is mate. Okay, interesting game. I think I'll upload that and see you guys later. Bye.
Incoming.